Bum, bum.
Hey.
We are live, I think.
It's always a worry. It's always a worry.
Always a worry. There were
Um,
some difficulties. You pop out the comments.
I'm going to pop out the comments here so we can read them
Oh,
as we
pop
go.
it,
Pop it. Twist it.
flick it.
Yes. Okay, we're in.
Ooh.
And if you make that half
Hello.
screen,
Very
then,
good.
then we can
Lovely.
see what
I
we're
can see
doing
that.
as well.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I can read.
Yay, everybody. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Here we are. It's the three of us. We're Full Arms and Hog.
Here, tell you what. I'll have a
Do it,
pop
do
there. Let's see if I can do this.
You might remember
get
us
rid of this?
from previous sketches as.
The Matt Warehouse. What? How odd.
Why did you start with that one? Was another really obscure one that you could like.
Excalibur nightclub.
Yeah, not even on camera.
And Green Issues. The top hit Green Issues. Who's in charge of this advert?
The PR guy is off the walls.
There we go. I'll do. Okay, cool. Welcome.
Yes, we did
Yeah.
decorate the room. I mean, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. There's some of these items
Oh,
are
lovely.
primed to fall off the wall throughout the stream. That's intentional.
Oh, this is good. I like. See, if I put on the headphones, I feel much more when I'm listening to it, like I'm listening to a radio
oh,
show.
really?
Bro, yeah,
You feel
I'll lash
professional.
on, I'm gonna lash
Well,
on
you don't
it.
have to now, but I don't know. I was just like, I didn't have the headphones. I was like,
If Fingo
feels like
does
I'm
it,
not talking
I
to
do it.
anybody
Yeah.
other than you two.
yeah, like we're lazily
Yeah.
sitting in this room just
Now
chatting.
Now I immediately feel
Means
like I'm on a show.
Yeah, you do feel like you're on a show.
Mm,
Okay.
This is good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being interviewed by the two guys.
I like to do one ear in, one ear out. So I've got
Okay.
that that room effect, but also
Yeah.
the professional
But-
feed in my
yes.
right ear.
You're still present.
Yeah, I'm present.
You're present
I'm
in the
centered
room, centered
in the room.
with us.
But I'm also really professional at the same time.
Yeah,
If you've just tuned in, you've missed nothing
nothing.
on the Full Arms and Hog podcast.
It's good.
Podcast.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shades indoors.
So
Shades
cool.
indoors.
I don't know if it is Roy Orbison.
Nice. This is a day that's sunny enough
Roy
for
Orbison.
shades, but cold enough for a coat. It's one of those days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could actually wear shades and a duffel jacket.
You could.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good look.
It's a
Walking
look.
around wearing a duffel jacket, looking like Joe Biden.
You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
Joe Biden.
The gist of this one, I guess, was to review the first leg of the US-Canada tour.
Yes.
To really delve deep into
Where we
it.
were.
Yeah.
The nooks and crannies. Scrape out the dust.
It feels like so long ago, and yet such a short while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
I think.
would question who scheduled so many gigs in such a short space
Oh
of
my
time.
god.
Yeah.
And, it would be horrible to throw around names.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to throw away names. We just have to use one name.
It could be
Oh,
any manager. Yeah.
Yeah, did we tell you guys that originally? Like, so the tour, the way it happened was we did a week of shows in Cork, 5 nights in a row in Cork, was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Then got to travel home and had, I think, was it 21 hours to prepare for getting on the plane for 2 weeks of shows in America, to then come home, have a couple of days off, and then off to the UK for a few more gigs.
Oh yeah. The
It's been a-
UK's were like the chef's kiss of death.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're wondering why there was an outtakes video this morning, it's because there was a conversation yesterday morning
Oh
about
god.
trying to see if
Not
we could,
even. Not even.
There wasn't even a conversation.
Silence from me.
Yeah. You were just informed. You woke up and it must have been great because you woke up and it was like,
No,
the
yeah.
outtakes video is ready. And you're
Yeah.
happy days.
I was like, listen, if I don't turn up, then I don't have to do a video.
I would say if we didn't have 8 takes there in the barrel, like that we could have used, that's probably the closest we would. If we had to have, if the thing was come in and do film a sketch on Wednesday, or do nothing and miss a Thursday for the first time in God knows how many years, it would have been close.
Yeah.
There's
yeah, it
always
would've been
something.
close.
There's always
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
Don't
there'll always be
worry.
something. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always something on the
Yeah.
computer.
Film yourself sitting on the toilet seat. Listen. Well, maybe not the toilet seat. So we're not going to do that one.
I don't think
well,
so.
We're not that desperate
that's,
yet.
that's wasted. That's wasted memory on my phone. Oh God.
Backed up to the cloud. Yeah, so what should we do? Well, and Cork was Cork. So basically, we finished 5 days in Cork. I'll start the story, and then you guys can take over.
Cork will always be
Cork
Cork.
will always be Cork, right? So we did Cork, 5 nights in Cork. We tried out a few new sketches, not new sketches, but we rehearsed a few old sketches that we were going to take on the road in the US and Canada.
That was a bit of a rude awakening at times, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
you're doing an old sketch that you've got such fond memories of, and then you watch the video of it because you probably put it on YouTube, and you're like, that was a great sketch. You just give yourself a pat on the back, and you go on to do it then, and you realize you're like half a second late with every single line and every single bit, and then the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah.
Like we did the first time in Cork, we did what we would consider probably one of our best ever sketches, Sandcastles. And
It was terrible.
it was terrible. It was
to
really
be fair,
it wasn't terrible.
Terrible is
The
exaggeration.
video being filmed 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, and the last time you did Sandcastles, you absolutely nailed it. Not because like you nailed the performance of it, because you totally rewrote it on the night, and then cut out like that large section of that argument that was always really forced. And I never thought to give notes on it, but now I can give notes on it posthumously on the work you've already done.
Whoa.
Because it's already done. You cut out like the slaps, which are very good, but you clawed for every inch of humor that you had there. You're like and like
Andy Dufresne through the sewer pipe.
Yeah, and it was
Comedy.
it was like you know Robert De Niro like you know doing the best he could with like you know a script written by a 5-year-old. And it was compelling.
It was very good.
But it could have been better had like you know we just stopped and like gone like no, we don't need that. And then because my one note from that was like I thought this is a bit academic, but I thought we never thought about your character Fingo. I think it was just too nice in that Sandcastles bit at the end. We didn't need you to be nice. We didn't need you to be like, oh come on, you know that's not fair. That's fair. It was like we're making your character too nice there, so we just need to ramp it up a lot quicker. And then you need to go, hey, you're being jealous, and then you know that jumping off block to the tension. Then do you know what I mean? So you've already been nice. We know you're nice. That's what I thought. No.
Yeah, I don't think
Again,
we
very
still
academic.
didn't. We still definitely didn't fix that bit, but we just got better performing the rest of it.
No, but the last bit, I mean, whatever you did, I mean, it was although it was very, very improvised. And anyway, that's for another day.
yeah. I know the feeling. Yeah.
But we also put it in the wrong place in the set list. There was so much stuff in Cork that we learned. Oh my god! And then we went to the Americas.
Yeah.
yes.
That was really exciting.
Colombia.
Actually. That was really exciting getting off the plane in Toronto, and
Seeing the snow. Going,
Seeing a different
I haven't
country.
packed for this.
seeing different countries.
I wasn't expecting snow.
for the first time in ages,
Yeah, snow. Snow was an eye opener.
and skyscrapers as high as the eye could see, or as the
Yeah.
clouds would allow.
Yeah, I forgot Toronto was pretty high.
Yeah.
And when we arrived in Toronto, there was mist everywhere. So the mist made the skyscrapers look even more epic. Like
Did.
they gave them perspective because like if they just shoot up into a blue sky.
Would you like some Blade Runner music while you describe them?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah, always. I want that throughout my life. You're walking through Toronto. Imagine mist as a skyscrapers go up. There's no flames bursting off the top of them, but there is cold air in your face. Anyway, they looked cool in the mist, like very cool.
That
Kinda
venue was
Minecraft cool, actually.
kind of out of town, wasn't it? And we were driving to it. And do you remember this? We got in the taxi. Oh, we picked up posters because we didn't bring any merch because it was too hard to bring merch with us to America. So you'd gotten posters printed in a place in Toronto that we were going to pick up on the way in the taxi to the gig. So we jumped out of the taxi, ran in. They'd left the posters at the door. It was like a hot drop.
Oh,
It was great.
Grabbed them. It was perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah,
And then we
That was
drove
great.
out, like, we're like, this venue's getting kind of far outside of town. But then there was these beautiful old buildings, and we're driving. Do you remember that? You're looking at, that's a beautiful building. That's a beautiful old building. That's a beautiful old building. Oh, that's a bit of a crap building. Where's our venue? Oh, it's the crap looking one.
Yeah. It was terrible looking on the outside.
Oh, it was awful.
On the outside,
On
it was
the
awful.
inside it was really nice.
And
It was
quite
nice
big.
inside.
It was like
Mhm.
bigger than the outside gave it credit for.
Yeah.
And they all had to queue outside in the cold. I don't know if it was cold for them, to be fair, but it was cold.
It was
It
cold.
was
And
cold.
The reason
Cold.
they were queuing the whole way down the black, and like
Because the venue.
because the venue had 2 scanners. It was their first show.
They
I
didn't
mean,
even need to.
There
First-
was a bit of sympathy there.
It was their choice.
They were just coming out of COVID, basically,
Yeah.
COVID restrictions. So they hadn't done any gigs, really.
So they weren't prepared for it.
They weren't prepared.
Well, also they didn't have the venue. It was the venue's choice to scan for to
For vaccination passes.
check the vaccination
Was it?
passes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or why wasn't
There,
it
there's
all, no?
goody two shoe. No. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was choice. Yeah. Certainly that's what I was told.
Oh, I thought it was in Canada that they had to. In America, it was whatever. Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
No, because
I think you're right. And
I
then it was
asked.
the mask mandate was going to be lifted 2 weeks
Yeah.
later or something.
They just thought, well, I think they were just being.
But I guess the
pretty
point
teachers
was
about
they had two scanners for 1,000 people, and they were scanning tickets and vaccination passes.
Yeah.
And
It's the latest we've ever gone up.
But it is. But what was quite nice is that we were able to sneak out the back and basically say hello to most of the people outside.
And let people know that 25 minutes after the show was scheduled to go up that it hadn't started yet.
Yeah, at least they were kind of like, oh, okay. And then there was people joining the queue at like 8:20. I was like, what? What are you doing over here? They're like, we couldn't get the babysitter.
And the promoter was telling us, like, you gotta go on now, you gotta go on. It's a 15:15, it's 20 past. We're like, we can't go on when half the people are still outside queuing.
Yeah.
So it was a strange start.
Strange start.
And we didn't know what, so we had our posters with us, and we didn't know what set list we were going to do, or do we do the gig in 2 halves or 1 half, or how does it work in this part of the world?
So we did it in 2 halves, but then nobody got up to go to the bar or the bathroom at half time. Or not nobody, but like...
Yeah. So we
not
could have
very
just
many
smashed
people.
through it.
So like, what was the point?
And because we asked for 2 halves, they said we weren't allowed to go out and meet anyone after the
I
show.
know.
So we had these
I
posters
think
as
they were
well
just
that we
doing
bought.
I think they were just doing that out of badness, because
Out
there
of
was
badness.
time. There was still 50 minutes, like...
Mad.
In DC, we had to show Vax Proof first and then get in line to show tickets. So was there 2 separate lines in Washington? See, we didn't see any of this really because this was the venue's job. Do you know?
Yeah.
I just seen someone was at the show there. Who knows what happened outside?
But
We're
the
just performers.
the first sentence went fine though, didn't it? There was
Yeah.
no like big, oh my God.
No, it's because the last time
They
we
don't
went
understand
to,
anything.
The last time we went to the States, we had a different set list and what we thought was like our best stuff. And then 2 sketches from the show that we did the first day just didn't work. The Lanyard Guy song, and
Yeah.
Beethoven and Barry,
Yeah.
just didn't
Yeah.
work.
Because
And-
everyone in America, they were too desensitized to lanyards. And also, Americans don't care about being humble so much as the Europeans do.
Oh,
They
hey.
have that shame of having to wear it. Like, well, they didn't yet. I don't know.
Hey, on that.
Something like that, I think.
Yeah.
On that,
That
so-
double-edged sword of... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but no, just like it's right on your point. When we did Right Song Wrong Lyrics in
Yes.
in the US Canada tour, we did Right Song Wrong Lyrics. So if you've seen the sketch online, it starts off I'm by myself waiting for a train, and I start singing a song to myself. A stranger walks in behind me, Hog. He joins in as I'm humming the song, and I get really embarrassed, and then I kind of turn away from him, and just so the audience can see, I go. Like I've just been really embarrassed and make a big facial expression of like, oh no, right? And the whole US Canada tour, normally that got a laugh when I did it. And I was like, no one's laughing. The whole US Canada tour, nobody laughed for my embarrassed look of, oh no, I've been caught singing to myself. And then you were trying to give me notes in it. I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't see it, but you could hear that there was no laugh where there used to be.
Yeah.
And you were like, you should try it this way, or could you try it that way, this way? And I was like, dude, I've tried it every single way. They're just not going for it. And then we postulated that it was because there in America, Canada, there's a level of confidence where if you get caught singing to yourself, who cares, man? It's all good. Good for
Yeah.
you, buddy. You sing your
Yeah.
song. You do your thing. And then we went back. So that was just in our heads. I got no laughs for it, but I kept it up. Then we went back and did Exeter and Cheltenham on the weekend. Boat nights. Massive laugh for it.
I know. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
You're
Because
doing it the
British
exact same.
people were so mortified by the thought of
Okay.
even being
Yeah.
caught singing to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
cultural
it's- and it's
difference.
a very real cultural difference as
Yeah.
well. Because I'm being slagged there for making a massive generalization there, Hog. But we have the data because crowds in America, mob mentality, a crowd, because we work off a crowd average. We have to. And
Yeah.
that's where your vibe is. That's where the laughter is coming from. That's where that's what we follow. And gig in, gig out. We work the crowd in different ways. American crowds, they don't care about being picked on, shall we say? in
No,
inverted
no.
commas. They
No.
don't care.
No.
don't
They
care.
love it.
They're like, this is my moment to shine.
But they do actually. They reacted almost the same. Now you know better than I would, but I felt like they reacted almost the same when you took their stuff, as they do at home.
Yes, I was better.
Like the
I was
crowd
better able to
reacted.
deal with it this time. I was better able to harness it
right.
because I think I tried to fuck with their shit, if you know what I'm saying, before in our first tour, and we still kind of ran into that kind of cul-de-sac. I don't know, right, when I was taking their stuff.
Maybe, or maybe it's
I don't
just
know.
because it's after COVID and going through people's stuff now has that inappropriate air
Yeah,
worldwide.
there's definitely
You're
that
trying
too.
on people's coats like taking their bags and walking around with their stuff on. Like, it's always fun to do that. But I think that they reacted really well to it. Like, the most fun part of it actually was in the last show when we got those six people up from the audience with lumberjack, red and black lumberjack shirts.
Oh, this was
is
in
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
This is
Ottawa.
Yeah.
I know I'm jumping ahead, but just reminds me of that, where we just got them all up to the front of the. We didn't even have any really jokes. It's like, look, it's like
was great.
if you're wondering why, you know, there's a stereotype of what Canadians dress like. Well, like
This is it.
this is it.
Yeah,
Right
there
there.
were 6 people in red.
There was
and
more.
black.
We just
Yeah,
drew
there's
the
more.
line at 6.
Yeah, we were like, we're running out of comedy time to get through it all.
There was another 2 people. I saw another 2 people, and then there was a full balcony of people that we couldn't check.
Yeah, we couldn't get down there in time.
Yeah.
So like out of a group of 100 people at the front,
Yeah.
there was 6, at least
Yeah.
6%. You know, maybe 10%. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot wearing the same thing.
Yeah, it's
How do you
hilarious.
this is a question for you, Hog, I reckon. How do you deal with theatres where they have tables and no space between the crowd? Something like that. Sorry, it's just gone
Well,
there.
good question. I mean,
You
but
press the arrow, it'll get you to
very
the
good
oh,
question.
yeah.
Very good question. Where we? Who said that? After mine. Well done. Who said we get tables? Yeah.
DG Square.
DG Square. DG Square. DG Square. Yo. How to deal with
Rapper.
theaters without tables and room to move in between the audience members. Well, actually, normally with tables, it is easier to move around because the tables allow you the space. But when they're like laid down in rows, and it's where we found ourselves in Cleveland, I couldn't get anywhere. I was absolutely hemmed in.
Yeah.
Hemmed in.
Yeah.
It was like my hands and feet were tied.
Philadelphia was the
I
worst.
couldn't get.
Philadelphia
to
was the
people.
worst because there was an orchestra
An orchestral pit.
orchestral pit, which was really big, so you couldn't get down to them, and then
Yeah.
the stairs were at the side, but you had to walk through a side audience. We always called them the jury, you know. You
Yeah.
had to walk past them and down
Yeah,
in
jury,
to get
yeah.
out to the front.
Oh, it's terrible.
And then when you got to the front of the audience, because there was 3 tiers to the venue, the people on the top 2 tiers couldn't see what was going on at the bottom, so you were just goosed.
That's
Yeah.
our huge problem messing with people, the sight lines when there's balcony levels,
Yeah.
because the people on the balcony, they might be able to see the front row of the very people closest to the stage, but after that, you guys in the crowd messing around, it's just,
Yeah, I know.
they can't
The
see it at all.
Manchester place is the worst for that.
Oh, the Apollo in
Yeah.
Manchester.
Yeah, there's nobody on the top row can see anything.
Yeah,
unless
it's
you're
tough.
right up on the stage.
Yeah, yeah, it's difficult. But to answer your question, I found out basically on this tour and that Cleveland experience is like, I need some space to get around to people and to like keep that, keep it fresh and organic, rather than like seeing something, but something else is going on during the show. You guys are commenting on something else,
Yeah.
having fun. You guys, it's working, so I'll let you keep doing it. And then I see something, because I'm there, because I'm standing beside it. But then, you know, it's a bit forced if I have to go back to it. Now I will do that, you know, if I have to.
Which is why it's good that you bring people's stuff up onto stage. You started to do that recently
Yeah.
because now you can access it really quickly.
Yeah,
And everyone can see it very clearly.
There was a great moment in this is in Cheltenham.
I stole a lot of crutches on tour.
Oh, I know. Do you know what? That's a joke I'd never do. I'd never have the confidence to steal someone's crutch.
I
I'd be like,
realised-
oh my god, this is going to be so inappropriate. Like, what if it's not like a crutch for like a temporary like problem that they have?
Yeah.
It's like a permanent crutch that they carry. Now,
I found it usually is. It usually is.
it's usually it's the generic kind of crutch.
yeah, the crutch, the hospital, the one you see thrown in
Yeah.
a bin crutch.
If it's one of them, it's
Yeah.
usually a temporary. Like,
Or-
I broke my foot or I
Yeah.
tore ligaments.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you had a full time crutch, you'd probably wrap it up and you keep it more cozy and that. Like, so you can tell the difference. I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I do have a little scan.
But
to be honest.
you forgot that you did forget to give the crutch back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I did.
We were
did.
backstage,
Yeah,
giving
in
each other a pat on
Cheltenham.
the back. That was a lot of fun. That was a great gig. I just spot the crutch. I'm like, the crutch.
Cheltenham,
This is like
I
10
do-
minutes after the show.
It was because the lady came up to ask for her bag back that
bag,
we'd
yeah,
also
crutch.
forgotten to
The
give
crutch,
back.
Also the crutch, and of course I was like, oh my god, I hope they haven't left. Obviously they haven't.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah,
I
sitting
wonder
there
where I'll
waiting.
find them.
Yeah.
There they were, waiting,
Yeah.
'Cause it-
waiting.
yeah.
They never mind, by the way, in case you're wondering. They actually find it funny.
No, they're delighted because
Yeah.
they're sitting there probably with a broken leg and with the moon boot on, and the big heavy, I like to call it a skiing boot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
without the blade.
Yeah.
And they're happy out. They're happy out to like get a bit of crack out of their broken leg.
Yes. Yeah.
Two cracks. One to put them in it, then one for the show.
Yeah. I do love balconies. And how do I get up to the balcony? I run
He's a
as
fast
fast
man.
as I can.
Oh, yeah.
Up to the top.
That's always fun. When it's like,
Almost
where did
as
he go?
fast.
And then it's like, I'm up
You
here.
get up there though, but then sometimes you find there's no. My favourite one was in
Only
in
slightly
Glasgow.
faster than our manager Duck, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's free.
We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah,
See the way
yeah.
that man waddles at like.
He is very quick.
You pump
Very
those
quick.
legs quickly.
No, my favorite one on the balcony was there's an advert for an insurance company. I think it is a life insurance company called Scottish Widows in
Oh, yeah,
Scotland,
yeah.
and they've been running for years. But they always have a very distinctive woman in this big long black cloak with her hood up, and at the end she looks towards the camera and it's like Scottish Widows, something like that, right?
Yeah.
A bit grim, but like that's the advertisement for it.
Yeah.
And in Glasgow, I went up into the balcony and they had these big long black curtains, and I wrapped it around myself, and I was like Scottish Widows. I was like, only the black curtain happened to be in Glasgow, and the joke wouldn't have worked anywhere else. So you do get lucky sometimes, but a lot of time you get up to the balcony and then there's not an awful lot to do other than be on the balcony.
And very hard to keep people's attention up on the balcony as well, because they have
Yeah.
to crane around usually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not lit. You could be anywhere. You can hear your voice perfectly, but it's
Yeah.
very hard to see.
Well, I
where
never know
exactly
where you
are.
are when I hear
Yeah.
your voice. I
And
don't.
it takes
Yeah.
me a
Yeah.
while to figure out where you are, so I always point in case someone's looking at me. I always point to where you are.
I know.
Whenever I
yeah.
figure it out.
Because you start to lose momentum if no one can find you.
Of course,
very
yeah.
quickly.
Well, I'm bored of that.
Yeah.
Someone just reminded me there. Do you remember there was interpreters for one of the shows?
Oh, that was brilliant.
Wasn't that
Oh,
great
yeah.
fun? Where was that?
I loved that. That was in DC. That was in DC.
Was it DC?
Yeah.
DC, yeah.
Because I remember that corridor where they came to meet us.
So it was like a first. We've had interpreters at our shows over the years, loads, but
Washington D.C., the District of Columbia. Columbia being a old name for America as a whole. If I don't keep on reminding myself of it, I'll forget. Because you don't know either. You've looked it up, but you've forgotten.
But the cool thing about those interpreters was normally we just get given one interpreter who has to do the seemingly impossible job of interpreting for all of us at the same time. But this time we got 3 interpreters.
We
So
weren't
they're
expecting
each.
this.
One each.
Great.
One each.
And that was so fun because we did the mime sketch where only Foyle talks.
Yeah.
And obviously we mime. And so the other 2 were sitting down.
Yeah.
For the whole thing, and of course, then you were slagging them off afterwards. Oh, did you like that nice cushy number there?
Yeah,
for you?
yeah,
Like,
you got an easy
yeah,
ride.
you got an easy ride. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was like, like, who's doing me? Who's doing me? I was like, well, can we switch? We switch. I don't like my guy.
yeah. I want the taller guy.
Yeah.
They were so nice, weren't they?
Oh yeah, and
They were
then
so
there's
lovely.
another thing that you do that I'd never do. You get them to say like,
Or you
really
say something awful that they
yeah,
have to
say
then
really
interpret.
embarrassing
First,
shit.
I asked them, "Hey,
Yeah.
you have to say whatever I say, right?"
And then they had to
And then there's a knowing kind of laugh from the audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get them to say vulgar stuff
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they have to repeat it.
Yeah.
But then what's funnier is
But
you
the
can see
members
the
of the-
audience. The audience then look straight up to them, and the audience go, "Oh yeah, I am curious as to what that vulgar word is
Absolutely.
in sign language, or
Yeah.
if there is a word, which of course there is." And then of course it's much better because they have to act it out.
Yeah.
And then of course,
they're always great as well because they're always like, if they're doing the show in the first place,
Yeah.
they're fun people.
yeah, generally speaking, yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're kind of performers, yeah.
Yeah.
There was one who was very, very odd.
Oh my
Maybe
god.
I won't say the place.
Oh,
Don't say where we were
the
now.
shoe person.
The shoes.
Oh,
The shoes.
Yeah, that was
They-
very strange.
A person came, right, and they made the entire show all about themselves.
was-
This interpreter that we got last minute because there was no one else available or something.
Yeah, we have an amazing interpreter we work with in the UK, Rachel Tipping, and then this was her
Yeah.
replacement for one show.
Because we always ask, can Rachel do the show? Can Rachel please do the show? Can it be
Yeah.
Rachel?
And
Please
we
be
had-
Rachel.
Do you remember we were like complaining to Rachel about her, and Rachel was like head and hands, like she was just like, "Oh God, it's so sorry." She's there like with her shoes off, like
She
just her
demanded
bare feet
that
on the stage.
She
like-
demanded that she wear no shoes and just be her bare feet on stage. This was some sort of installation
yeah, and I
piece.
wanted
It's
her
like,
own tech rehearsal.
The
and
show
lighting and
is not
lights.
about you.
It's gas.
It's like, come on, all right, just you're like, wow.
That was a funny one.
It's like like translating a manuscript or something. Do you know what I mean? But like demanding that you do it in green pen, or like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
It was like,
I need to do it in the Comic Sans, or I don't feel comfortable doing it. Then don't do it.
yeah.
Very good. Any other mad stuff happened? Probably lots of stuff. I'm just trying to think back. There was so much that's happened in the last 3 weeks. can't
Well,
really.
we were in Toronto, then we went to Philly. We kind of already talked.
Oh, we had a
about
day
that.
off in Philly.
Yeah, I really liked Philly.
Yeah, where we went to the coolest
Philly was
dive
great.
bar. It was like something out of like, something out of a movie basically. It's,
Oh, that place. Oh, yeah.
for Paddy's. It was Paddy's
It was
Day. wasn't
St. Patrick's Day.
Paddy's Day,
Yeah.
And we got
That-
the gang together again for a few pints.
It was really cool.
Good.
That toilet in that place.
Oh my
wow.
God.
There's a toilet.
Whoa.
There's a toilet.
There's a toilet, right? There's a
I
toilet.
don't know if you can
like-
call it that.
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh, there was no door.
no, it was no.
There was no door. On the number 2 area.
Yeah, so
There
It
was
was
no
just
door.
wide open.
the gents' toilet had, you open the door and you open it immediately onto a urinal, which is right there. So like you just open there's the urinal, and then you're like, well, that's in kind of like that's well in view of everybody in the pub
Yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as the door's open. But so there's a cubicle right beside it, except it's not really a cubicle because it's only 3-sided. There's just one side, there's no door on it. It's completely open.
and my favorite part about it was there was a giant plunger beside it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
as if,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, listen, you're gonna have to use this. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's just enormous, like novelty sized
hey,
plunger.
you wouldn't give me a hand, would you? I had a bit of a bad one.
Can you imagine the different layers of embarrassment? So there's something going on with you that it's an
To be
emergency.
fair, there
you need
was
to
a
go.
divider. They were sound enough to put a
Oh,
divider
between the
in
urinal.
between the urinal
Yeah.
and the
For-
toilet.
for
Yeah,
COVID.
but
Yeah,
not
for
not
COVID.
between the sink and the toilet, which were just looking at each other.
Yes,
But if you
yeah,
were in
and a
a
mirror.
if you're in an emergency and you had to go to a number 2 there, first of all, it's mortifying because there's no door,
Yeah.
and everyone who comes in is now just looking at
Yeah.
you, having your going to the toilet, right? And then to take that embarrassment to the next level, you then clog it. And have to get up and with the door open use the plunger with everyone watching.
I think in that scenario, you just have to go, okay, just going to turn off the brain here. Going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
turn off the
Yes,
switch
yeah.
that connects my old brain to the
Yeah, yeah.
cerebral brain where all the emotions take place.
Yeah, yeah.
And just turn it right off.
Yep.
Just turn it the hell right off.
This
Just
isn't
go
happening.
ahead and just go.
I think I'd pretend that I worked there, and I'd be like, some asshole just
Oh,
blacked,
yeah,
the,
yeah.
blacked the can.
Yeah,
and it's
like-
like,
Yeah, can you believe this? Can
you believe these guys?
goddamn-
Yeah.
My God, the stink of that.
yeah, I tell you, I'm thinking about throwing in the towel right now.
Do you know what that toilet didn't have? It didn't have one of those signing sheets saying this toilet was checked at 10:05
Yeah,
by
no, it
Mark.
wasn't. Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah, man, that place was grim.
but yeah, so that was our night. That wasn't Philly.
Philly was great fun.
Yeah, it was just to walk around.
There's
Genuinely.
there's
It's
a
nice.
there's a secondhand clothing store in Philly that the last time we get in Philly, me and Duck went into and got like incredible bargains. That's when I just like picked up a North Face
Oh, yeah.
jacket for like $15. I was like, amazing. So then this time we're in Philly, I was like, Duck, you're my lucky charm for this place.
You're my guy.
You're my guy. You coming with me? We're going into the going to the same place again. Again, got loads of stuff. Duck picked up a Barber jacket for like, I don't know what it was, $25, something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the place. I can't tell you where it is because then everyone will go there
We'll
and
go
then
there,
won't have the
yeah.
cool stuff
Oh.
anymore.
I took a picture. I took a picture of someone on a train for you guys. Which reminds me, you were telling me about those hooligan jumpers.
Oh, yeah.
I spotted one.
Oh,
I
yeah?
spotted a guy. I took a picture for you guys.
Oh, do.
Does
he look like a hooligan?
I forgot to send it on.
Will I tell them what the deal is with it?
Where is it?
Yeah,
Do.
explain
Yeah,
it.
what
Okay,
on it, yeah.
so basically I was looking on Depop for like just like a second-hand clothes app, right? I was looking for a jumper and I saw this really nice jumper. It's like 100% wool, really nice. Can't remember the brand name now, but like it was just a plain navy crew neck jumper. But then what I didn't like about it was on the sleeve they had this like fabric patch that was on with two buttons on it and like a big kind of look almost like a bullseye logo on it. I was like, oh, I don't know, but it's a really expensive jumper and it's really good quality. It's like, I think I want to get it, home and home getting it. Anyway, I was at a football match then a little while later and I was pointing to my friend, I was like, oh look, there's loads of people wearing those jumpers. They're really expensive jumpers. Your man's like, yeah, they're the hooligan jumpers. I was like, what? Apparently it's this brand. We'll find out the brand name. Maybe you can see it in your photo or something like that.
Yeah, I've got the logo.
Oh, I do, yeah, with the logo on it as well. And apparently, it's just worn. It's like a symbol that you're a football hooligan up for a bit of trouble at the matches if you're wearing this really expensive 100% wool jumper.
There's definitely a few elderly men who've got caught up in scrapes that they didn't want.
Oh, that's
There you go.
that's the one.
There's it. Yeah.
That's the
There
one.
you go. Yeah, it's pretty much the NATO symbol.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see that there, but it's
Yeah, they can
it's
just
pretty
about
much
see that,
it's
yeah.
pretty much a gold NATO symbol. No relation, I'd imagine. It is pretty much spot on NATO. I don't know what the deal is there.
So there you go. Pick up hooligan jumpers. That was a weird.
Good to know.
Don't know how we got there. Oh yeah, because he took a photo on the train.
Yeah.
Stay away from that dude.
Yeah, I was careful not to get his face in for GDPR reasons, data conservation
And
privacy.
potential assault reasons.
Yes, exactly. Now I am known for my physique, and of course these hands have to be insured.
Yeah.
These fists, these lethal weapons.
I do
they
know
have to be-
that. It's like, where did you damage your finger? Was it playing airsoft? Was it, or where was it?
No, I've never been injured ever. People around me get injured.
You're having to shake
Yeah.
so many people's hands in
Yeah.
the States that eventually you had to go with the left hand.
Yeah, because too many like hand crushers.
Yeah.
You know those freaks go, I want to shake your hand.
I don't even think they, like, some of the hand crushers don't even realize that they're like just like don't
Yeah.
know their own strength. Like,
Yeah, and then like I've had enough of that, like, because there's nothing worse for it. Because right now you can see it's one is bulbous and one is this. See this index finger? I think that's the index finger, isn't it?
yeah.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
One is they're meant to be the exact same, but they're not
definitely-
anymore.
Someone's definitely screen grabbing this.
You
thing.
just reminded when you said one is bulbous, was you reminded me of that joke. What was it? Copernicus.
Oh,
yeah. Hubble.
Hubble.
Yeah. Copernicus. Kaleidoscope.
That's it.
Yeah. Hubble. Hubble. Hubble bifocal. Something like that. Yeah.
It was always funny, and I never really understood it.
Really? Yeah. It was comparing something that was really a really good lens to something that was not a good
It's
lens.
niche.
It was
It's
very
niche.
It was very niche.
Fair enough.
All right.
We won't even bother telling you what the setup was. There you go.
So from Philly, we went to.
Oh, they
Boston.
want to compare
Oh.
your hands to my hands. I'm sure.
Oh, right.
Well,
Okay.
we've got the same size.
Much
hands,
like
I
I
think.
don't think so. I think
yeah,
they're
my
bigger
hands are
hands.
quite small.
No. They're
They-
not that much smaller.
They
than
all
mine.
look the same
They
size
can't
on
see,
the
so
screen
why
there,
you
don't
just- why
they?
you just put like. Oh God, I might break a wrist. Right, so what we got going on there?
Yeah, they're a bit bigger, but they're not massively bigger.
Yeah. What if like you see? Oh no, if I have to do it that way. Okay,
Yeah,
so okay, so
Like that?
there.
Yeah, they're a bit bigger.
Hold on.
Maybe like
I'll keep
half an
going.
inch or something.
Yeah. Oh my
Keep-
God! They've become the one hand. Oh no! Oh
Monster!
So you can't hear that.
no! Yeah, I can hear that.
It's just when you're doing that, do the hands again. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be nice.
Oh, is that the mysterious one?
No, it's just kind of weird music to go with it.
Imagine we were like co-joined through the hand like that.
Oh
Conjoined.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would work quite well as comedy.
As a comedy, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess
like,
you could own lots of jokes and that.
yeah.
Be tough for like surprise entrances and stuff, but you could,
Very
you know,
much
you
so.
could make it work.
I think you could make a virtue
You
of
could
it.
make it work.
So then we went to Boston. We didn't have enough time in Boston, but the show was wild crack.
Well, you told them. Have you told them about what happened as soon as we got
Yeah,
into
I did.
Boston?
Well, I wrote it in the diary. Was
Yeah.
absolute jerk kicking the bag.
Yeah. What a scumbag.
But do you know what though? Like, if the thing about it was like, I kind of knew that he was just mouthing off. Like, you know, he wasn't like.
Tell the story if people haven't read it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sure
fair
somebody
enough.
hasn't
So-
heard it. Yeah.
Maybe there'll be something I forgot to write in anyway. So we're at the baggage collection area, and we've got some of the bags, but not all of them.
Just
And-
arrived in Boston.
Yeah, just touched down. We're like 10 minutes down, and I think, to be fair to the situation, the guitar, which is like a fold-out guitar, is in a little bag, and it's maybe half a foot or a foot away from the rest of the baggage because we probably moved stuff and forgot to bring it with us. Anyway, a guy comes along and just boots it, right, and it goes across.
Kicks it across. We just see it sliding.
Yeah.
and I
Maybe
just-
10 meters
I
across the
just
floor.
looked up to him and I was like, huh? And he was just like, is that your bag? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what's it doing in the middle of the fucking hallway? And I was like, it's a guitar, like a very expensive guitar. I was like, that's worth $1,000. And he was just like, well, then get out of my fucking way, asshole. And then I go, asshole. And then he was like, fuck you, buddy. And then he
Yeah.
was
I
like,
use stronger words.
we had the whole Boston experience in just as we land. I felt like someone from the tourist board was going to have to come up and go, there'll be $20 for the full
Yeah,
Boston
yeah.
shouting match.
He went. He
straight
went.
in.
But you know
full
what, like,
offensive.
If I felt like if it was in another country, like if it was in Dublin or something, I wouldn't not confrontational in that sense at all. So, you know, like I knew that it was Boston, and I'd heard about that kind of a reputation, you know, where there's not really, like the guy who was traveling with us, JT, was just like, don't worry about him. He's gonna have another 5 interactions like that before he gets his plane. And it's just like, I was like, oh, okay.
This is the way they do it here.
Yeah, the guitar was fine. It was more the
What was funny was that the unexpectedness of like what we were expecting him to do and what he did. We were expecting, oh, sorry, I didn't see your bag there. Jeez, I'm so sorry. And then what he went for was 6th gear defensive mode.
Yeah.
Tear the head off us.
It takes some definitely built up aggression to see a bag that's in your way and your first move is to kick it across the floor.
Yeah, like
it's kind of amazing.
Make no mistake, he saw it. Like it was a big, wide open. You know,
he'd been planning it. Yeah,
real flat. Not many other people around. It's just him and us. And he went, I'm going to kick that bag if it's still in my way by the time I get to it.
I would say he premeditated it so much he was stretching beforehand.
Yeah,
you know, like sports warm up. He was getting his quads done, his hamstring. I'm not going to pull it. You know, he gave it a proper boot.
Yeah, yeah. You always just kind of remember that people who do that type of thing, they probably have nothing to lose. So I'm like, I kind of let them walk on.
Oh yeah. No,
fight with his
you let him off the hook there. We would have messed him up big time, man. We would have made so many jokes about him.
Yeah.
Well, we did, to be fair.
Oh yeah, it was a nice shouting match. I have to say, I didn't feel like, I didn't.
We got great use in the show as well.
We did feature in some of the shows. We we got value for money there
because we were explaining it, and when we came to the Boston show, we told them straight away.
Yeah, it was like you know what you guys did to us.
Because they laughed so much, they were like, yeah, okay, they believed it. Like it wasn't as if like this was a bit.
Yeah. And then we used it when we went to Washington as well. The following game, because they're all like, yeah, Boston people are like that.
Yeah, there's a guy from Boston in as well.
I put it in the actor sketch. Yeah, did a bit about Boston people being just really angry.
We got our money's worth out of that.
Yeah. Don't mess with us, all right?
Yeah.
Boston you a bit more. Yeah. All right.
If that man is watching now, I mean, it's unlikely.
I'm very unlikely he's a Patreon. Jeez, imagine he's a Patreon. He turns around and goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
If I had known whose bag I was kicking. Yeah. So that was Boston. That was the standout from Boston, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it wasn't. We were there too short a time to really know anything else.
Yeah. I went and got some. I was getting a bit of a gentle ribbing, from the rest of the crew.
I don't remember this.
Hardly.
I got some Japanese food in Boston, and it was really delicious. And it's called a poke bowl.
Here we go.
I don't really know much about it, but I think
any excuse to talk
somebody
about
maybe
a poke
could
bowl.
tell me that it's like actually from Hawaii or something, and it's not Japanese at all. That's fair enough. I could easily be wrong here. But I said, I got a poke bowl, right? And the lads are, poke bowl. Don't just throw it out there, like you
don't know what a poke bowl is.
You don't know what a poke bowl is. And I was like, I hadn't thrown it out. I was like, oh, do you not know what a poke bowl is? I was like, oh, go on, tell us what's a poke bowl. And then for the rest of the tour, everyone was like, did you get yourself a nice poke bowl? But yes, anyway, if anyone knows anything about a poke bowl and if they like them,
or how do you pronounce it?
And am I getting it right? And where is it from? Japan? I haven't. I could easily have looked this up.
You see,
poke.
The funniest part for me was after you said it, and then I wasn't even part of the conversation. I was just listening in when Fingo asked you, "Oh, what's that?" And then you realize, I think, the error of your ways by saying it.
I didn't really know.
And then I was like, and then he was like, you went to such an effort to explain it.
That's true.
You felt, oh my God, I really need to explain this, or I look like an idiot.
Yes.
I'm glad I said Japan, and then I also did say Hawaii just there a second ago. You can
is it from Hawaii? Is it a
I think it is
Hawaiian word then? Yeah.
There's one in Dublin, and that's right. Yeah.
That is true, yeah. I asked you what it was, and then it became very quickly apparent that you had no idea.
I was struggling. Like I was kind of hoping that you might know.
I just asked you what it was, though. Oh, you thought I was asking you just to test you, like?
No, I guess maybe I thought maybe it might come out in the wash. Like, oh
yeah. We'll discover it together.
Yeah.
So what is a Pokeball?
I was right the second time round, which is it's from Hawaii.
Okay.
And then you were like, oh, okay, yeah. You remember you said, oh, okay. And what's in it? And I was like, what did I just eat? What did I just inhale in about 4 minutes because I was so hungry? I was like, and I was like, it's kind of fishy. You wouldn't really like it. And you're like, oh, okay. What else? Because you get other stuff. And I was like,
I'm drowning in my Pokeball.
Yeah.
I ate in a very nice place in Washington, D.C., which is right beside our venue. It was the place that Obama went to get food one time, and like basically all the politicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it a fast food place?
Yeah, it's a fast food place. Yeah. It's no, I've forgotten the name of it now, but it's right beside our venue, and it was like a renowned fast food, but like not a chain, just a once off kind of mamas and papas kind of like of a place, and you know, it was like steaming in character, but like real, like, you know, quick and.
And did they have photos of
Slap
like
me up.
Obama up eating the food there?
Well, of course.
Did they have any of Biden? And Biden managed to
Nah,
grab a
didn't like
bite?
him. No, there was none of him. Yeah, no, maybe probably didn't make it there. I don't know. But yeah, but it was delish. It was real delish. And
And what was it exactly though?
yeah, but what was it? Very much just chips and hot dog.
There's an answer. Okay.
Ben's Chili Bowl. It was Ben's Chili Bowl. Well done,
Aye.
well done there,
Krista
Krista Worth. Feel my worth.
They were really fun shows, by the way. Those DC and Boston shows. I mean, to be honest, and genuinely, there wasn't much to separate. Do you know? Like,
Yeah, did you have a favourite show? They were all fun
I'm
actually.
trying to think, like,
Did we have a favourite show?
Yes, I had a favorite show. Which one was,
there was
it?
for different reasons. Like, some of them were, like, some of them sold better than others. Some of them had more people, and so they're, you know. I mean, the New York one was pretty special just because of the size of the venue and the prestige of the venue and how
Yeah.
beautiful it was. And
The Cleveland show was the worst sold,
but it was brilliant fun.
probably one of the most fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they kind of, I mean, the audience was just brilliant throughout.
Where was it? Was so
If I can add
weird.
Cheltenham to that.
Which is the
I'd say Cheltenham.
yeah.
Oh yeah, well, Cheltenham. Yeah, Cheltenham was good
There's a
crack.
Cheltenham in the US.
Do you know what was really messed up looking back was when we played in Detroit and Pittsburgh, two places. So we were staying
Yeah.
in the city centre kind of thing, more or less, for those two places. And then, but the venue for the gig, we only found out, was like about like 40-minute drive away
Yes.
along motorways and stuff.
40-minute drive away. Yeah.
In no way should it be described as Detroit or Pittsburgh. It was so far out from these places. Like,
Yeah.
it just seemed to us like we were playing a weird rural suburb of a city.
I was
yeah.
I was quite hungover that day, and the guys were very kind to sound check before I arrived.
Because rock and roll started here.
And well, I
This
felt
is in
extremely
Detroit,
rock and roll
was it?
by the end of it, because the Uber driver, and it was such a long journey. I was panicking that I was ending up at the wrong place, and the Uber driver's been really nice and giving me basically a tour of Detroit, and we got on really well because it's such a long journey. We had to, and by the time we got there, it was so late arriving that the queue had already formed, and the name was up in lights, quite literally.
Oh yeah.
And he turned the corner and went, "Hey, buddy, is that your crowd?" And oh yeah, it looks like it is, yeah. And I went, "All right, man." And he started fist pumping me. And I was, all right, yeah.
The Uber drivers, actually, that's a separate category for the tour in and of itself.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Because
yes.
they ranged from
Such a
obviously
lottery.
the silent type, fine,
Yeah.
to like the relatively chatty, to the extremely chatty, to like
To the angling for a tip, and you're just weird.
no, there was some really odd Uber drivers, and then there was some amazing ones. But the amazing ones, we got an email. I don't know if anybody else saw this. On
Hogs hype, man. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
We got an email from somebody going, "Oh, I was just in your Uber. I was just in your Uber." Like sorry, I'm distracted
Sorry.
by Hog here. Rate the drivers.
Rank the Uber drivers.
rank the drivers.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Very
the
good,
worst
Natalie.
one. Was.
We will do that. We'll do it in a minute. So continue there.
Yeah. So
I was in your Uber.
We had this Uber. Sorry, not quite right. So we were in Boston getting dropped off, and we were chatting away to this guy, and he was brilliant, like the best, like the opposite end of the angry Boston guy, the really chatty, really funny,
Right.
really friendly dude, right?
Yeah.
And he was brilliant crack, and we're having loads of laughs about him. We're like, I'm pointing at stuff, and he's having a laugh, and he's great. And as they did, kind of regularly, kind of go, well, what are you in town for? And we tell them about the show. They write down the name. Anyway, I get an email from a guy going, I just had an Uber driver who wouldn't stop talking about you. He dropped you off at the hotel in Boston. And I was
No
like,
way.
amazing.
Really?
Because I guess if you can get the Uber drivers talking about you, that's like...
That's how
spreading the
grassroots
word.
you spread the
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
You can spread it through
But
Uber.
anyway, so that was good. So he was probably the best.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think
count.
the silent types don't feature.
No,
You
no.
know,
they get
you're not
they
giving
just-
us anything here.
They just get an NA or a 5
Yeah,
out
exactly.
of 10.
Yeah, yeah,
'cause-
Yeah. I had a good
Well,
guy in Pittsburgh who took me on a free tour. He just kept driving the car. He's like, I still got time. Come on, I'll show you this. I'll show you this bit. We go this way. I gotta take the long route. I was like, I'll pay you extra. It's fine. This is great. Nah, I got time. Come on. Let's see
yeah.
this. Have you seen this?
Yeah, he did
Let's
sound
go see the
great.
vernacular. That's a prison. Did you know that? That's a prison. No way. Yeah. Come on. Let's go see the town hall. Do you know about this? They call this is mined with this place, a bridge in Italy. It's called whatever. It's like it was a proper tour.
That's great.
Of Pittsburgh in a car. So he was up there. He was good.
A lot of like like retired people driving Ubers as well. I had a guy who was like. He was like, I'm just driving the car today to get out of the house. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, we just came back from vacation in Florida. My wife's driving me nuts. She's emptying all the bags. I just got to get out of there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he was like, she was saying, do I want to do some yard work? I was like, yard work? I'm exhausted. So I'm out here. I'm happy to drive you everywhere.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, and so many of them have Irish roots. Like, God, does everyone in America have some sort of like connection to Ireland going back? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I know who got 0 in the ratings. Lest we say -1.
Oh no.
And of course, McKenna was on point up there.
Do you know what?
He was the standard bearer for this particular journey.
That does happen to me quite a lot. I think I have like, I must have a face of someone who looks like.
Well, you'll tolerate more than I will to begin with. Do you know what I mean? You'll try to be nicer, maybe.
Well,
off
of course,
the bat,
yeah.
which will then invite more.
Yeah. Well,
by the end of the day.
genuinely, I'm always like interested in like, especially if you're in a foreign country, like interested in hear people's perspectives and stuff, and like I do kind of initiate conversation with people, like Uber drivers, to go kind of get the. I don't know. I wouldn't maybe do it as much in Dublin, a little bit,
Yeah.
but definitely abroad, to kind of, I don't know, a bit of crack, get someone's perspective from an area, whatever.
Immerse oneself in the culture.
Yeah.
But of course, it backfires sometimes when. But like this guy was not listening to me at all, and he was just talking. He was reading out his resume. The
But
resume
not only
thing was common enough, actually. I ran into that a few times.
Yeah, was it
and
an
then I
American
went
thing?
to and then I was in here, and then I worked 2 years in there, and then I was in South Africa, and that was a very different thing. I was learning languages, I was learning this, I was learning that. I was like, how did we get on to South Africa? How did this? And then I realized it's just a script, it's a monologue.
not only was he angling for a tip with all this bullshit, he was also just tooting his own horn at the same time. He had meshed the two of them into one. He was like, right, I know what he was thinking. I'm driving right, but I can get a tip out of this. He does it to everyone, obviously, because he was rattling through a script, not listening to a word we were saying.
Yeah, it was. I had to start. I had to, after like 25 minutes, I had to initiate a conversation with Foyle behind me about nothing.
Oh,
so
no,
nice buildings on the way.
Oh, God.
Duck and Finger in the back. They were safe as houses back there,
Yeah.
chatting to each other. They were too far away.
I was caught in the mirror.
Yeah. The driver's
The
here.
basilisk.
McKenna's there, and he can see him in the mirror, in the rearview mirror. I'm just over here, and he can, if he wants to turn around and look at me, he can look at me, but I'm turned away like this. I'm getting real interested.
I was looking in the mirror,
buildings.
staring at like
That
a deer in the headlights.
that drive for me was absolutely fine until like about 3/4 of the way into it. The guy in front of me just turned around and started talking to me about absolutely
Nightmare.
nothing. So boring. I couldn't look away. He was looking right at me.
To be fair, I got him out of trouble in the end because I started going, something about snow. something
like grabbing onto you.
innocuous crap. And at one point, McKenna turned around to me. It was like this. No, the camera will pick this up.
Yeah, because we had the face mask on, so you can only read the eyes.
He's looking at the driver, and then I'm over there, and then he's...
That was 25. Because at the start it was. Because at the start, right, like it was a conversation, That's fine.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know
always
this
enjoy
guy.
a conversation.
Get to know this person. There must be something interesting about this
but
person.
then he wasn't taking anything I said at all and adding it into the conversation. He was just literally shiting on about his life.
Yeah, it's like, excuse
Which
me.
if it was like
I
really
haven't got to
interesting.
part B of my resume. Do you mind?
Yeah. If he'd been like Ernest Shackleton or something, I would have like gone, oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was just trying to justify his existence.
It was bizarre.
It's awful.
Anyway.
There has to be 2 nominations for also to be considered for the best Uber driver. Was the Uber driver who dropped us to the airport after the Washington gig, the next morning?
This is the one where I lost. Is it that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He definitely gets a nomination.
That's a pretty good nomination, isn't it?
Was I in the
So
car?
I actually
Did I miss
don't
that
know
one?
this one. So what happened was I was very tired at one point in the middle of the tour.
And that's the
And at the
3/4
end,
mark
yeah,
at the
but
end.
particularly tired at this point for whatever reason. I think we had an early flight and we were a late night the night before. Like not a late night, way more like a late night, just getting into the hotel, whatever. And the next morning I left my bag in the taxi with all my stuff.
As we were getting out of the airport, like.
I went like this to grab it. I was like, where are the straps? Oh, they're not there. And then in Ireland, like if
We'd
you
just
leave
been
something in the
checking
taxi,
in.
you can call the number. You go, how are you doing? Listen, Johnny, I've left my bag in taxi. Can you swing it around and whatever? And yeah, you can get them that way. But yeah, in Uber, you've got to go through this, contact the driver officially. And it's like it was looking grimmer by the second.
Yeah.
But he drove it back to the hotel that we were saying.
So that's why he gets a nomination.
Yeah, he gets a nomination.
We called the whole incident the bag part 2 because you've probably heard us talk about the bag.
Oh,
the bag.
Somebody said, lads, the bag.
The bag. The bag.
Again,
Which was the last time on tour a couple of years ago in London when Arms lost his bag. He left it on a train that time. So that's in a car just before the airport. but this one you got back.
Yeah, so the previous tone, when I missed my bag, I was like, lads, the bag. I'm trying to imitate how they
No, that's too surprising. No, you need to put
Good.
yourself in the mood of like, guys, do you remember the joke I told about the bag? That's just like,
go on, you do it then.
He's like, lads, the bag. I've got something really, really good to tell you.
It certainly explains your reaction, which was both you guys
waiting for the next bit.
And then I was like, I didn't explain anymore. I just turned on my heels and ran away. And it was left for you over the next 20 minutes to decipher where I had gone and why.
This time communication was upped.
Yeah, I felt like
in Washington Airport.
Like, lads, has anyone seen my bag? And
we just checked our big luggage bags
Yeah.
into the flight. So we'd been in the airport maybe 10-15 minutes since the car. So it could easily have been left on the ground unattended and been whipped away. So we didn't really know. After a few questions, we were like, maybe.
Well, I developed some skills the previous time I'd lost my bag, and I put them straight into action.
Yeah, absolutely. Got on to Transport for London.
Yeah,
they said they weren't able to help.
No, that was pointless.
Yeah, but so that's a nomination, and then the other nomination for greatest Uber driver of the US Canada tour, I think, has to go to Duck's Uber driver, who took him all the way from Montreal to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because the scumbags in Ottawa airport, in Montreal, pulled him aside for a random COVID test.
They hit him twice.
Yeah, they hit him twice. So
we were flying from New York. Yeah.
So it all started the first time we landed in Toronto. To be perfectly honest, because Duck gets pulled aside because there's another criminal called James White, who, by the way, I tried to Google, couldn't find out what the original James White had done. But anyway, there is a fugitive called James White, and like apparently they think he flies economy from Ireland and lands like every other passenger with his own James White passport. And anyway, so they're like, oh, there's a guy from Canada who's done some pretty bad things. And Duck was like, well, as you can see, that's not me. And then they were like, oh, okay, well, haha, laugh, and they let him on. And then basically, the kind of
they still took him aside the first time, didn't they, for a little while?
They took him a little interview,
yeah, into the interview room or whatever. Yeah,
I know because I tried to follow him. They were like, no, not in that way. I was like,
not for you.
Huh? Why
we trust you.
And the exact same thing happened the second time, which we kind of thought might happen. Like when he's going back into Canada, they might pull him aside again. And sure enough, in Montreal, they sent him away. He gave like the sheet. Look, this is what we're going to do in Ottawa. We're doing a show. This is approved. Here's our visa information, whatever. Yep. And everyone was like, can you please stand over there? And I was like, oh, okay, that's obviously what I'm going to have to do. And I was like, hi, I'm the same as him. I'm the same story. So I went to make him, and he's like, no, you stay here. I was like, okay. He's like, oh, okay, cool. On you go. And I was like, oh no, it was James Whited again.
It was on you go to your connecting flight, which is leaving in, what was it, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Yeah. Like, we didn't have a huge amount of time to get to our connecting flight. So when Duck got pulled for that extra chat about his name or whatever it was, he told him, he's like, well, I got a connecting flight. And they were like, okay, that's cool. Don't worry, it's fine. And he'd, in New York, got his COVID test done. So he'd been able to prove, look, also COVID test negative, it's all good. So as he's leaving after getting pulled for his name, they pull him again for a random COVID test. And he's like, yeah, but I got to get to my connecting flight.
They were like, they made him wait 15 minutes, right? And this is the funny thing, because he was so angry, right? They made him wait 15 minutes, okay, before he was allowed to leave, right? And then they were like, how would you like your results to be sent?
Well, they even know they were giving him a code.
Yeah,
it was like, here's the code.
I don't care. Like, I've got my COVID test now, and I'm going home back to Ireland.
They said the results would be ready in 24 hours. Here's your code. You can put it in the website and get your results in 24 hours. He's like, I won't even be in the country in 24 hours. I don't want the bloody code.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, well, we just give it to you anyway. He's like, no, and then he stood up and walked off.
Yeah.
And then he ran to the gate, got there, and the flight was still there, but they wouldn't let him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp,
So that's how we got the Uber.
womp.
So that driver.
But he made the show. He made the show in Ottawa. So that, but
I got a written warning as well on that particular flight as well from the flight attendant, who served me, served me my divorce proceedings.
Yeah,
she served me. She placed it right in front of my face very rudely, because my mask slipped down below my nose twice because I had a bit of a flimsy mask, and she didn't like me because she didn't like me at the start because she asked me to put my bag down by my feet, wasn't it? Because there was no space up in the upper lockers, which there was.
Yeah.
She just wanted it her way or the highway, and then I put it in there, and then I didn't want it there. So just before it took off, when everyone was in their seat and there was space, I shoved it up there. I caught her eye, and she didn't like it at all. And that's when she said, "She gave me the card." I was like,
it's like getting a yellow card in
You're
football.
carding me
Kind of
because
funny.
because I had a better idea than you. And
Did you fake vomit?
I've disobeyed you. So come on.
Did you
Fake vomit? Oh yeah, no, there was no fake vomit. God, do you remember the laugh I had for that random person when I fake vomited on them?
Yeah.
We were in tears for the entire flight. I was like, I happened upon an absolute buzzer. Right, there was this woman, and can't remember where she was from, and but like you remember, and you were sitting
really
on the side. As soon as I sat down, I did, and then she was like, whoa, and I was like, I'm only messing, and she started laughing away. And we're both cheers.
The flight straight away.
That's a big opening gambit, isn't it?
She's like, I hit gold anyway. We're laughing for the entire flight.
She was there with her mate.
Ripping it at
Yes,
each
I think
other.
she was Polish. Yeah. And she was there with her mate, and they were going on a girls' weekend or something.
Yeah.
They were laughing their heads off as well.
Yeah, we were having the best time I've ever had with a randomer on a plane. Yeah.
So then we were in Pittsburgh, and again we were playing outside of the city there.
We're jumping around. Pittsburgh, I guess, was in the middle of the tour. Ottawa at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were going from DC. We kind of talked about DC a bit.
Pittsburgh was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really.
No, we had a day off in Pittsburgh. It was a bit weird.
It was a bit of a dump, to be fair.
No, I thought it was. Okay, so there were cool things about Pittsburgh in that when you
there were cool things, but
when you went through, and it didn't have the tourist appeal of like DC, Boston,
no,
Philly or Toronto. That's true. But there was one really cool thing where you went through the tunnel and there was like no city, and then you came out the other side of the tunnel.
Oh yeah,
and it was like
we were staying in a hotel.
Minecraft. The city, there's just
it had a lot of character. It definitely had a lot of character, but it was
it was
still
a former industry town. The one thing that was cool about it was there's definitely like old factories and stuff that they seem to be kind of renovating the whole time. So it does look like a city that's going to be very cool. Very soon.
It's not a tourist town. Yet. If you're a tourist, you will struggle to probably have a good time. But if you live there, I'm sure it's great. Is the kind of impression I got.
A cool restaurant,
because
though.
You know where to go. And
on that day off, that was deadly.
We did get a great restaurant.
We did, yeah. Now it took us about 40 minutes to an hour to find it because nothing was open that day. But we did. Do you remember?
Oh no, we're talking about the restaurant in the evening.
Oh.
The place with beers
Did I
was.
make that?
We went to the wrong part of town because it was like a crappy
that
day.
hotel was terrible. That was the worst hotel in the world.
Yeah, we were staying miles out of town.
I can't believe it.
That's why we were staying out in the
That's
sticks.
not Pittsburgh's fault though.
No, that was us.
Yeah.
That's
on us for skimping on the hotel. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, it had nothing. It barely had Wi-Fi. Just about. Kept dropping out.
But it was the former steel town, and some of the had galleries and stuff and restaurants that had been converted. I don't know. I kind of liked it. I have to say.
Okay, what's okay?
Would I go the touristing?
Oh, there's loads of cities there. I wouldn't go touristing,
Yeah.
but were cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's definitely very different.
Well, okay, ready on the
It
spot.
was different.
What was your favorite?
You think it's
It was different.
What was your favorite city? Favorite city on the spot. What was your favorite city each year's?
Philadelphia.
All of us. Philadelphia. Yeah, that was great.
Toronto. I kind of like Toronto,
Oh, I felt you didn't see enough of it.
even though we were in and out of most of these places.
Jet lag.
And on
Yeah.
a plane the next morning. After
Philly
the day.
Philly has a pass because we got like a day off there, so we got to, and we were fresh because we'd only done one gig and we'd gotten over our jet lag a bit. So Philly,
had a
You
leg
can only
up there.
enjoy a city if you had a day off to do it. Like, you
Yeah,
can't-
Yeah, but
I
Philly's
don't know
cool.
what Boston. I don't like. I'd love to spend more time in Boston.
Boston
we'll
actually
see.
was awesome. DC looked like it was really
It
fun.
did look really cool.
There was some really nice places, although quite spread out and maybe a bit up its own.
Which one was up its own bum?
Potentially DC.
DC.
Parts of it we were saying
Parts of
were
it,
like
yeah.
very fancy, and you just wondered,
Yeah.
was there much character?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. We had to explore more. Yeah, Philly was probably my favorite too.
Mm.
Ottawa's weird. We got to Ottawa and it was
Didn't see
cold.
it at all.
There was nobody there. Everything was closed. We didn't see a person. Like, remember me and Hoggy? We walked to the venue.
What the hell?
There was no one.
It was
We-
like DayZ.
barely a car passed us on the 20-minute walk to the venue. We're like, what is going on?
I think we were in a quiet area of town. I was since told.
Yeah.
We were in the financial kind of area.
Yeah.
And yet there was apartment skyscrapers like lining the streets. Like, where were these people?
it was still weird. It was apartment blocks. Yeah.
Apartment blocks, you know, more so than office blocks. 'Cause
Yeah, it
they
was
all had
bizarre.
balconies and stuff. So yeah, but there was not a soul and no cars either. It's like it wasn't just
Ottawa
people
was
were just wrapped up.
weird.
The audience were so grateful that we came. Like,
was awesome.
in kind of New
Yeah.
York, they kind of expect you to come and whatever. But in the places that kind of more, I know Ottawa's technically the capital, but they're like, everyone goes to Montreal. Like, thanks for coming to Ottawa. And the same thing in Cleveland and what up Detroit and Pittsburgh as well. The rest of them, they kind of expected you to almost come, but those kind of smaller places,
Yeah.
or whatever, like,
It's
thank
gonna
you for coming.
it's gonna be weird for part 2 of the tour when we go back in, was it October, November, something like that?
Mm.
Because we'll have a new show.
Are we going to
Yeah.
Boulder?
Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah, Denver.
Boulder.
Boulder Theatre. Is Boulder the place?
Yeah, that's a city, isn't it? Boulder City. It's just funny because
We have it
I
written.
didn't remember.
We have written in Denver is what's written, but maybe Boulder is like a town outside Denver. This is going to be another
Masker.
what a Royal
Boulder.
Oak. Royal Oak, not quite.
Oh
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Why were we walking home in minus 11 degrees? Because it was 15 minutes for an Uber, and the walk was 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So we decided.
Yeah,
to
so
walk.
just do
and
it.
actually, it was good crack
It was good.
Yeah.
Crack.
because you just kind of got into it and then just went really fast and
You see,
sang songs.
I
and
feel
stuff
like that if the lad in Boston who kicked the bag knew that we were the type of lads who go out there and walk home in Ottawa after the gig in those temperatures,
Wow,
he would have kicked that bag harder.
I think so. Boulder's where Mork and Mindy live.
Yeah, I was saying that's what I
cool.
want to know about Boulder. You just put it on the map right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good tidbit. I like that.
And is it in Colorado or where is it?
Yeah. Colorado. I only know that from putting the gigs up on the website, so I'm not exactly some sort of like
No.
wise old man.
Oh, it's the wind that'll kill you.
You are.
What else can we talk
Do
about?
they do you reckon there's many climbing places in Boulder?
They have a lot of what did you think I was saying?
No, I was just wondering.
Holes.
Fingo,
Murples.
did you know?
Holes.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
They have a lot of
Murples.
holes. Purple holes. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd say loads of outdoor climbing would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone like to hear the snob prison thing? Is that the right time to do it? Or
Probably not,
Grant? Well, we'll not do it. Then. We'll not do it.
but
I'd written
don't
who
spoil it
knows
for
if
them.
any use. Yeah, we won't. Just a
because it
script.
could be. I think they'll be pleased to know that it's coming up because I think it came. Did it come from a stream? The idea.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it did.
So they're
actually.
gonna actually hate me now for.
Well, I'll tell them. I'll tell them what's called. It's the. I mean, it may not be funny. It may not even come to pass. So, but it was. I've written maybe a draft, shall we say, of the snob in prison. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, if it goes. And it was. And the reason I mentioned it is because we came up during the one of the live streams. So well done, everyone. Well done, Go Team.
Go team.
Yeah.
Go team.
Group think.
Yeah, you're right. Pirate Hobbit, the snob in prison, already spoiled. Great, well done. Yeah, ruined.
Was it a successful tour? Somebody asked back there, and
Yes,
it was.
it
I think it was way more successful than I thought it was going to be, and that not
Well,
just on-
define success.
Yeah, I guess that I felt good after it.
I felt exhausted.
Yeah,
but good.
but like I'm really happy that I went. It was
shows
so
went
nice
well.
meeting the people afterwards and like kind of seeing those smiles on those faces. But
shaking
like, seriously,
shaking
though,
hands and kissing babies after
yeah,
shows.
like meeting people going who travelled like sometimes
13-hour drives.
crazy hours to see the show. Like that was just made me feel good, I guess. You know, like, and even in places that were only half full, like in the Cleveland and Detroit theaters that didn't sell as well as the rest of them, like they're still brilliantly fun shows. and the audiences were so up for it.
I think if we're doing those cities again, or that side of the country, we gotta plan it so that they're just a little in a line, as opposed to we were flying over cities that we were going to come back to.
Yeah.
It was badly planned
It
in that
wasn't
way.
the most environmentally friendly way to do the tour.
No,
because we could have done. There was,
3 or 4 cities in a row.
we could have gone on a train journey up the East Coast, like. Couldn't we? Between Philly, New York, and Boston.
Or even
there
there was one thing that we drove, but even driving would have been better. It was just we were hopping over cities and coming back. So I think it was just because that one was hastily put together, whereas the next one is a little more. We just travel up the West Coast.
Yeah,
makes more sense.
except for one part where we go back down again. If you forgot about that,
Which one?
I think it's Seattle, Portland. I think we go instead of going from Seattle to Vancouver.
Oh
Seattle,
yeah, we go
Portland,
certainly.
Vancouver.
Oh, we do. Yeah, that's a bit messy, but not too bad. Yeah. Well, there you go. Out of 10, the tour.
I would give it a 10.
A 10.
Yeah,
Even though you lost your bag.
Yeah, I actually did. It actually didn't bother me because I was like, I'm having such a good time. I wasn't gonna let the bag bring me down.
I give it an 8. It leaves us a solid 2 points for not having a day off in each city. At least a day off in each city after each gig.
Okay.
Well, it would have been nice.
That'd be a tour, you know.
Mm.
That'd be a
I know
tour.
what you mean?
Yeah, I would only dock at 1 point, 9 out of 10, because we didn't get to have a last night celebration.
I think that's fair enough. Yeah,
'Cause the
Maybe a 10
tour-
was too generous for that.
It was meant to finish in New York with a day off to kind of like celebrate.
Yeah.
Well, we could celebrate that night and have a day off to recover, but we ended up having to move the Ottawa show to the Sunday night, so we had to go straight from New York to 2 flights to Ottawa, exhausted because it was 4 gigs in a row then at that point, and then get on 2 flights home, and it was just the end just kind of went, oh god. We just got through the Ottawa gig and then just collapsed.
Yeah,
there was no
Ottawa's
celebration.
one was actually one of the most fun ones of the tour.
It
as well.
was, yeah.
Yeah, it was great
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
We're all letting loose as well because we're like,
they're all good shows. They're all good fun shows. Thank you everybody on the Patreon as well. I know a lot of you came up after the show, and maybe you're watching this later on and identified yourself as Patreon supporters, and
Yes,
we're delighted to meet you.
it was lovely to meet everybody.
Yeah.
first time.
Mm-hmm.
Love them.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the look back at the US and
The
Canada
review.
tour, Foil Arms and Hog stream.
We will be back with our next review of a tour after Edinburgh.
Yeah,
The European tour and the second leg
Mm.
of US Canada. Can't wait.
Bye
for it.
everybody.
All right.
Bye
then.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Talk
See
to
you later.
you.
Bye.
Hold the wave until
Hold
it
the
presses
wave.
stop.
Hold.
Stop waving.
Press
Hold.
record.